All right. So I was kind of sitting here and remembering when Conan O'Brien got his show on TBS. They did like a glass blowing montage, and I can blow glass, kind of. I think. But I was like, let's see if anyone's reviewed this, and I don't think anyone has. So I've got it queued up. So I'll flip to this, and all right. So the rest of it's just the remaining ad for I think it was American Express, and they don't pay me, so I'm not going to let them get any airtime. So let's kind of go through it. So that opening montage, kind of here, kind of see it going through. It's supposed to be probably similar to Murano, Italy, where you see a lot of Venetian glasswork. Then you have this shot. Not bad, not great. It's obviously cold glass, and it looks hot just because the color that they used, and it's warm. It's not actually really that hot. This is cold glass. The glass isn't actually moving. If this is actually hot, you'd see this actually moving. You can see where the cursor is, and you can actually see the block burning. That the embers coming off, so that it's just burning, and the guy in the back is actually turning. So he actually probably did cut it. Nothing spectacular. There, you can tell it was cold because it didn't just cut through like a piece of paper. It kind of snapped at the very end, so it's like cutting a popsicle stick. Obviously, the first one they make, not good. And smash it. So that looked like all red glass when they smashed it, so it's whatever. Let's redo it. So they redo it. Going into a furnace. Super bad posture. I know he's super tall, if I remember right, as well. But you don't want to be hunched over like that. If you're hunched over like that, you're going to be really hurting the next day. Turning. Okay, I want to go back a little bit. Oh, too far. And in. There we go. The use of a torch. So the fact that I can see that this isn't that the piece of glass actually isn't moving at all means you shouldn't be using the torch to reheat. You should be in the furnace. That's gonna be a way better heat source. It's a lot hotter. And just looking at it, I can tell it's really cold glass, and they probably kept it cold enough to keep the shot rolling, warm enough to keep it moving. Using, let's see if I can get this to come back up, a cork paddle, or maybe just a piece of wood clamped. Looks like they just clamped a piece of wood. The guy behind them kind of patting him on the back. He is capping the pipe, which is kind of amazing, but I'd be surprised if he was even able to shape that glass as cold as they were working it before. And then obviously he makes the good one. One thing I'm going to say, you can kind of see it. This is probably just a piece of plastic right there. Let me go back. I want to go back a little bit more. If he was putting it in, he would have Kevlar gloves on. If you were taking it out, you wouldn't. And this shot doesn't show it, I don't think. But unless, even on a continuous leer, it'd be cold enough to actually probably touch with your bare hands. It'd be like a hot cup of coffee when you start taking it out. But the fact that he has the gloves on and they're going through it, if it was actually this bright in your kiln, it'd be melting. And if it's on that end of the leer where they are, it'd be like 1,000 degrees. So obviously, staged for the shot. In reality, it's probably just the microwave. And then you have the, let's go back, the little applause sign. This is obviously just a piece of screen printed plastic. And it was what it was for the shot there. And then the sound and lighting guy.
If you're really serious about it.
You know, the guy that's doing all the rigging and stuff for this is kind of whatever. So we went through the actual commercial.
Entertainment. Every detail counts.
I don't even think this is his actual theater. This looks, I don't know what theater they used as this background, but it's definitely not the soundstage that they record on. At least it doesn't look like it. They might, but these are like the big balconies up here, another balcony, and then just your front of house. But they don't actually, I don't think that they actually use a thrust stage. So let's go through the behind the scenes quick as well. Since we're here, I have seen it.
For this commercial,
So this is probably that fresh hot glass. Like they actually went and handed him something hot. So you can see how, point at the screen, use the cursor. This is actually glowing because it is that hot. And it's going to be moving around a bit.
Did it. The director asked me, have you ever blown glass before? And I've learned over the years, always say yes.
Yeah, no. At least go take like a weekend course from a public glass studio near you. I know he's in California, if I remember right, so that would have been public glass. I think in San Francisco, or is it LA? One of them, or the Crucible. Both are very good glass learning centers. And I think he should have gone there and at least gotten the general concept down before doing this.
So you might lose the gig. So I told...
You know, it's the general background.
I was an incredible artist with glass.
Yeah, he's definitely not. He was lying through his teeth. I'm not going to even lie on that.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know that you're not allowed to touch it when it's molten.
Hold on. You had to be told that? Oh, Mr. O'Brien, you scare me. Yeah, something that's thousands of, hundreds of degrees, if not, over 1,000 degrees, you probably shouldn't touch. I think human skin starts burning at like 150 Fahrenheit, and you're talking about something that's probably closer to, well, the temp that you're working at, probably 12 to 1,300 Fahrenheit.
We worked at a place with...
So you saw how cold that was, and it wasn't moving at all, and he might have actually been turning it properly, but it's hard to say.
They really make glass. They had an oven there that has been on, this isn't a joke, it's been on for 3 years.
So this is a picture of a reheating furnace. It's not the melting furnace. The melting furnaces are, a lot of places leave them on if they can, because it takes a few days to come up to temp, and then you have to get glass in it and melt it and find out and actually usable. So this is just the reheating furnace. These get turned on and off all the time. When I was in college, we built a set of reheating furnaces, and we had it set up, I think, in 40 minutes from room temp to operating temp, about 40 minutes, give or take.
I think it's the same temperature as the center of the sun.
I'm doubtful it's the center of the sun. It just seems like that because you don't blow glass, young sir.
That's how hot it has to be. They can never turn it off.
you can shut it down, but if you want to keep working, you can't go up and down just, oh, I want to blow glass it and have it ready by noon. You do have to sit and think ahead. So they do shut them off, but generally they're left on for a long time. And part of it's because you have, when they're warming up, you can't work and you just sit and lose money. It's literally just burning money at that point.
So I say to the guy, unlike everyone else on vacation, you don't have to wonder, did I turn the stove off? The storyline of...
You don't have to worry about turning the stove off, but you do have to worry about them blowing out. So glass sits at a very relative volume. And when it cools down, once it stops being molten, it'll actually pull. And you can actually blow apart the inside structure of that furnace. And it's almost like a bowl, like a cereal bowl. And if that pulls together, it can actually crack it. And then if there's any molten glass in the bottom or anywhere else, it'll actually go out into where you don't want glass. And that can include the floor. And hot molten glass on the floor will crack concrete.
This commercial starts, and I'm in this artisan's hut in Italy, and
it'd be a house, not more really a hut, but let's keep
working
going.
with Italian craftsmen, and then you see that I'm blowing glass, molding it, bending it,
You should have had that hotter. It's not moving.
Hammering it, and then the very end.
No, you can hammer glass. Never mind.
I've made an applause sign. And so that's the little reveal at the end. I don't think I'm being too grandiose, but I think that's the Citizen Kane sled moment.
Yeah, and then you butcher the language. Yep.
Obsessive personality, and that's, I think, what these ads capture. It's me obsessively working on the most minute detail.
So you can see that this glass isn't moving at all, and then it's just to be like, hey, we can use a torch. And he's not wearing glasses here. At least it doesn't look like he is. They probably gave him a set of didymium glasses because his eyes were probably starting to burn as the sodium flares. He's staring into the sodium flare. You can obviously see that the guy behind him is actually turning the pipe for him.
We were working with a brown glass, and when it's really...
Okay, so it's brown. I thought it was a different color.
Heated up, it looks exactly like delicious caramel, and it's everything you can do not to reach out and bite it.
So, Conan O'Brien, if you see this, I will give you $10 to take a bite into that glass. I'll personally give you $10. Your dentist and your doctor are probably gonna wish that I didn't do that, as well as several other people, but it is something. And you guys can't even hear. Actually, I think you can.
And I just kept almost subconsciously wanting to just bite into this liquid hell, which would have been a mistake.
Yeah, you can see that glass might be starting to move, but it's not really moving. And that's really something that I don't like seeing, but it's obviously I wasn't on site. And for him to get to this point, you'd probably be looking at anywhere from 3 to 6 months of actually working with glass on a fairly regular basis.
I had this giant globe of...
So even when they came out of there, like you can see the hot side on the very tip. This, it looks like it's hot. This is just barely warm. So the head of the pipe where the moil is, or where the leftover will be. So this line right here is probably, from here down is usable glass. The rest of it, not so much. And only about half of it's hot, from what we can see.
Of super hot glass. This is the temperature at the core of a hydrogen bomb that's exploding. No,
I don't know if that's true. To keep it without breaking, you're looking at keeping it over about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
I've just been told by the safety expert, don't get this near your face.
Yeah, facial burns really bad. And yeah, if it's the right temp, you'll actually stick to it, and it'll literally. And I've actually burned myself this way. Where you touch it, you stick, and you have to literally pull whatever it touched off.
And the director, Brian, who's amazing, kept saying it would really help if you could get it closer to your face. A little more in front of your face there, perfect. And I was...
All right, so one rule that I have is not putting molten glass above where I want to burn. So usually it's waist or like armpit height. I don't like going above if I don't have to. The other thing too is, let's say you have this, this pipe that's as tall as you are, you kick it, right? So if my guy's here and it kicks it, he's going to kick that right into himself. And if that glass is face level, it's literally going to smack him in the head and cause major burns. And he's going to be really injured.
Closer and feeling this amazing heat. And then I started to smell ham cooking. And I realized it was my Irish head catching fire.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty realistic. You will smell something. Generally, it's burning hair first.
Actually ignite, but I was starting to cook, and it smelled delicious. It really did. It smelled like Easter brunch. I'm a method actor. Let's pretend that's true. And I was channeling an Italian artist.
Yeah, you can kind of see how this is just really bad posture. He should stand upright and just kind of playing with it. And not really. You can tell he's forcing it. I know he's tall, and this furnace is probably set 30 to 32 inches on center, to the very middle of where that yoke is. So right here is probably at 30 to 32 inches. Most of the studios I've worked in have these set to 34 to 36. And if you wonder where we get that height, go to a doorknob, measure the height off the floor. That's literally how I set my height, as I put a thumbtack in the wall at where I felt comfortable reaching, and kind of it feels good to be standing up. Being up here it feels really weird. So you want to be like waist level. And I think I have all of my stuff designed to be at 34. 32 or 34. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
So
not a clue what he said.
When the director suggested maybe you're singing opera, I don't know anything. So again, always say yes. I am making my world debut as an
Okay, so he's saying Lady and the Tramp, but whatever. Not here to judge.
opera singer, which I think is probably a horrible mistake for American Express. I think that once they hear me sing, everyone's going to shred their card. But that's their problem, not mine.
So that kind of went over what he had. Hopefully what I actually said is useful. I will try and remember to add these clips down below if I remember. Hopefully what I said makes sense. You guys have a good rest of your day.